to virtual class of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai Education Department. I am Mrs. Akshata Kale and today we will learn EVS. Come on students, let us begin our lesson. Let us learn about the second lesson in EVS part 1 of standard 4th, and the name of this topic is interrelationship between living things. Dear children, you know the meaning of relation, right? Mummy, daddy, brother, sister, uncle, auntie, etc. They all have some relations, isn't it? There is a relation in between these people, right? That is the meaning of relation. Yes, but the heading is interrelationship between living things. See here, we know that living things include all types of plants and all types of animals, isn't it? Here, interrelationship means there must be some relationship between all animals and all plants, or in between plants and animals, right? Or animals and animals, isn't it? Yes, dear children, today we will discuss about the interrelationship or interdependence between the living things. I hope you are eager to know about this, isn't it? So we will not waste our time and we will move to our lesson. The interrelationship between living things. Okay, this is our topic. Dear children, before moving to the lesson, we will try to solve this riddle. An age-old tree with a thick, strong trunk gives deep, dark shade from the scorching sun. Like an old man's bed with many strands, it has ropes for swinging from every branch. Yes, we know that this is about a tree, right? Because tree has trunk, leaves, it gives us shade, right? Okay, now see here. An age-old tree with a thick, strong trunk gives deep, dark shade from the scorching sun, right? It helps us to save us from the scorching sun, hot sun. Like an old man's bed with many strands, it has ropes for swinging from every branch. See, dear children, we can see 4 pictures here and they explain the riddle. Am I right? Here so many people, they are sitting below the tree to save themselves from the hot sun. Here we can see a strong, thick trunk, right? And many strands here. Am I right? And in the last picture, see children, they are swinging from the ropes like roots. Yes, you are right. The answer is a banyan tree. Very good. Yes, dear children, the needs of living things are met in their environment. Yes, this is right, isn't it? Because our basic needs like, see here, food, clothing, shelter, air and water, they are all fulfilled in our environment. Come on, tell me. See here, the food, the pulses, the cereals, all we get from the environment, right? The cotton, the wool, the silk, whatever is needed for the clothes, that also we get from the environment. Here shelter. We need wood. We need then water. Correct? That all we get from the environment directly. Right? And here air and water. That also we get from the environment. Means in all we can say that all the basic needs of living things are met in our environment. Am I right? Yes. Here the air, water and food. These are the basic needs of animals. Am I right? Yes. They are also fulfilled in our environment. But there are difference in the needs of each kind of living things. For example, the water that a mouse drinks in an entire day would not be enough for an elephant even at one time. Means basic needs are same but the quantity differs, isn't it? Okay, let us go through some of the examples. Now you can see here butterflies feed on nectar of flowers. You know this, correct? Butterflies, they suck the nectar from the flowers and they live. That is their food. Can a frog do the same? Yes? No. Right? Frog, they feed on small insects. You can see here. Right? See the difference. And here you can see a tiger is hunting. Right? It hunts and it eats. Correct? But what about this sheep? Is sheep hunts the animal? No. Right? It is herbivorous. Sheep eats leaves of shrubs. Again see the difference. Right? Each animal is unique. Its habitat is different. Isn't it? Here you can see fish. It lives in water and it breathes in water. That is the dissolved oxygen it takes and it can breathe in water. But what about this pigeon? Can pigeon breathe in water? No. Pigeon breathes in air. It lives on land. It flies. Correct? It takes oxygen from the air. Again you can see the difference here. Right? Now here you can see a plant that is called as bulrush. And these grow in water. These are called aquatic plants. These plants need much water to grow. But what about this plant? Lemon plant. Can lemon plant grow in the water? No, it is not possible. Lemon grows on the land. Like that only, bulrush cannot grow on the land. Here we can say that each living thing is special. It is unique. It has its own needs. Right? And all these needs are fulfilled in the environment. Got this, children? Okay. We will go through one experiment here. Okay? This experiment you can do in your home too. Dear children, try this at your home with the help of your mother. Okay? Now you have to take 2 containers. You can see in the picture. Okay? Name them or number them as 1 and 2. Got this? And you have to put soil, 3/4 container soil, and put some water so that it will become moist. Means it must contain water. Okay, moist soil, so that we can put 2 sprouted matkis in each container. Here also in the first container also we have to put 2 sprouted matkis, and here also 2 sprouted moth beans. Moth beans means matkis. Afterwards, what you have to do? Here for the first container you have to put 2 spoons of water only once every day. Means for one day only 2 spoons of water. But for the second you have to give 4 spoons of water 4 times every day, in the morning, afternoon, evening, at night. Like that, 4 times 4 spoons. For how many days? This you have to continue for 6 days. And you have to observe what will happen. Now you can see like this. I am showing you here the result, but you must have to try this. Okay, this is very simple and your mother will help you in this. Got this? Now see the difference. Here the moth plants, they are growing well in the first container. Can you see? And what about in the second container? The plants, they began to rot. Why? What happened here? Why the first container plants, they are growing well, and what about this second container plants? Yes, here the reason is plants that are not aquatic plants cannot grow in marshy areas. See, here the second one, the second container, we gave more water, right? It become a marshy area, isn't it? So for these type of matki plants, they need less water. They don't need more water. Because of more water, the roots rot. So the plant began to rot. Got this? And here in the first container we gave very less water, and this moth beans, they need less water. So they are growing well. Yes, dear children, by this experiment we can say that any type of living thing will be found only where all its needs are fulfilled. Got this? Here the first container has a well-grown matki plants because they got sufficient soil, they got sufficient water, they got air, right? Here what happened in the second one? It got air and soil, but what about water? It became more. Got this, children? Okay. Now one more example we will take for this sentence, that is, any type of living thing will be found only where all its needs are fulfilled. Now we have gone through about the plants. Now we will take one example of animal, that is tiger. Yes, dear children, a tiger has strips on its body. Can you see here? And you know that also, right? It has strips, right? Because of these strips and its color, it will not be seen to the prey. It hides and it waits and it catches its prey, right? That is the first one. Okay, tall grasses it needs. Second is it needs caves for shelter, or thick dense forest for shelter. Okay, here you can see the tiger is hunting the deer. There are animals like the deer, the nilgai and the bison in grasslands. When the tiger is hungry, it can feed on them. Yes, means here the food it gets from the environment, right? And the last one, it needs water throughout the year. So there must be a water hole which never dries up even in the summer. Right? Yes. Here, when the tiger gets all this in its surrounding, that is tall grass to hide and to wait and to catch the prey, and caves for shelter, food and water, then the tiger lives in that place. Got this, children? A tiger inhabits an area where all these things are available. Here you can see Ranthambore National Park. Here it gets each and everything like food, water, then shelter, grass, etc. So we can see so many tigers in Ranthambore, that is in Rajasthan. Dear children, here you can see the pictures of village, or you can see a village life in these pictures. Am I right? And what about these pictures? They are the pictures of city. More populated, advanced lifestyle. Right? Yes, can you tell me where we can see more population? In village area or in city area? Yes, you are right. We can see more population in city area because we, the people, need advanced technology. We need comfort. We need easy life, which we get in cities, right? Compared to village life, the city life is more easy and more advanced, right? We get vehicles to move from one place to another. We get electricity, we get internet, we get all comforts in cities. But in villages, we must have to do hard work. We don't get internet. We have to walk from one place to another. There are no more vehicles, right? There are no roads. They have to move from the mountains. So here also we can say city life is giving us more comfort, right? So we are running towards cities. Same thing happened here also, right? Now dear children, we will try to study or learn about our pets. You can see so many pets here: dog, cat, parrot, tortoise, etc. Lovebirds, right? We keep pets. Yes, dear children, we keep animals in order to satisfy some of our needs. They became dear to us. We look after them well, right? We feed them. We take them to a vet if they fall ill. It means here veterinarian means animal doctor. These animals too return our affection, right? We feed them, we take care of them, we love them. In return, they too love us. They too give us affection. They too help us, right? We'll go through some of them. Here you can see a dog. It guards our house, right? Here you can see a cat. Cat entertains us. It catches mice too. We love cats, isn't it? We love dogs. They too help us. Here we can see an elephant. Here these elephants, they entertain us through the circus. They carry loads and they help us in transportation, isn't it? And here you can see bullocks. They carry heavy loads. They are used for bullock carts and they also help us in farming. In village places, we can see like these bullock carts. By using bullock carts, they transfer the yields that are harvested from the farm to the storing place, where they can store the yields properly or safely, isn't it? You can see sheep, right? It gives us wool. And here you can see hen and eggs. It gives us eggs and meat. Yes, dear children, you know these cows or cattle, they give us milk, right? And from that milk, we make butter, we make curd, we make ghee, etc. Right? And here one more thing I want to tell you, that these are called dung cakes. Got this? These are called dung cakes, and this man is making dung cakes. The dung of cattle is made into dung cakes. They are used in some places as fuel. When they burn, they give out smoke. Here you can see the burning dung cakes. They are giving smoke. Because of this smoke, the germs which are very harmful, they die, and this smoke helps to clean the air. Here also you can see the dung cakes are used as fuel, right? And here you can see the manures or the fertilizer made from the cattle dung and sheep pellets, which are very good for plants. Farmers use them for growing crops because plants need nitrogen, and these cattle dung and the sheep pellets, they are very rich in nitrogen. Because of that, we can grow a healthy crop. Got this, children? So many uses we take from these cattle dungs. Here you can see a plant. This is called gobar gas plant. Got this, children? A combustible gas that is called as gobar gas. It is also obtained from cattle dung. Here you can see a big plant containers, right? In that we put the waste materials, that is cattle dung, the wet grass, and all the rubbish we put inside these containers, and methane gas is liberated, which is used as fuel in village area. How we use our LPG cylinders to cook food. Got this? Like that only this gas, that is biogas, is used in village area to cook the food. And here you can see a house. Okay, it is in village, plastered with cattle dung. Here, this is not cement. You know the cement, it is used for plastering the house, correct? But this is not cement, this is a cattle dung. Cattle dung, it helps this house to protect from the insects, and also it helps to protect this house from the weather. It acts like a cement plaster. Yes, here are some questions. Can you tell? First one is, from where do we get silk? You know that your mother has silk saris, isn't it? Silk. Yes. From where do we get silk? Do you know? Here I will tell you. See, these are caterpillars, or we can call them as silkworms. They give us silk. Okay? Means we get silk from silkworms. The detailed study about this you will study later. Now the second question is, how are trees useful for monkeys? Dear children, observe this picture. Can you tell me, how are trees useful for monkeys? Yes, correct. Monkeys, they get shelter and they get food from trees. Right? They live on trees. They eat fruits from the trees and they play on trees. Everything they do on trees. Right? Means we can say trees are whole and soul for monkeys. Next question is, how are trees useful for birds? Here you can see birds, they get shelter on trees. They build nests, right? And they get shelters on trees. They get fruits on trees. Same here also, like that a monkey, birds get each and everything from the plants or trees, isn't it? See the dependence, how living things are dependent on each other, right? Here, what happens if termites make a tree hollow? See here, termites means white ants. They eat the tree. They are eating and they are making the tree hollow. Yes, what will happen to this tree later on? Can you imagine? It eats the tree and it makes the trunk hollow. And later on, the tree will become weak and it will fall off. Got this, children? Yes. In the second part, we will go through the next portion. Right? I hope you understood about the interdependence of living things on each other. Right? Thank you very much for being a part of this lesson. Please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon to get new updated videos.